Hello.
Hello, Armand. Long time no see.
Wow.
Nick, how are you? Kennedy, it's like you never left. All right, okay, so here we go, guys. Again, this is an optional review. Okay, so the first thing that I want to start off with is, here we go. Okay. All right, so I want you guys to, where is it? Here we go. Okay. Return the number, or print the number of times that the string hi appears anywhere in the given string. Okay, this is just like a warm-up problem, okay? But these are the type of problems that we are going to get. Okay, so take 2 minutes just to see if you can figure this out. If you need to pseudocode it, pseudocode it. Okay. I'm gonna throw a wrench in the system after you guys are done. So you guys have about 1.5 minutes left. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I have given you a string. Okay, Eleanor, did you watch class today? Eleanor.
Yes, I did.
Okay, was it riveting?
I'm actually in period B, so we don't have class today.
Oh, but you watched the class from last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I went over this. All right, so now I'm telling you again. So let's see, Thanos. I have a word, and I'm asking you to count the appearances of hi, correct? So whenever I'm keeping count, or I'm cycling through, or summing something, what do I need?
You need a variable to keep
counter variable
track.
Okay, so we'll say so we're going to call this, let's call this int hi equals 0. We're looking for the number of times that we see the word hi. Hi makes it seems like it's a good variable, right? So now let's see who remembers this. All right, Isis. Okay, Isis. Okay, we need a for loop because we have to cycle through. So give me the signature of the for loop. Give me the whole thing.
For, and then in the parentheses, int x equals 0.
Go with J.
Okay. Word dot length.
What is it? Repeat that. What's the conditional?
Word dot length -1.
What's the whole conditional?
Oh, sorry. J is less than word dot length -1.
Okay, now explain to me why it's -1.
Because you're asking for 2 characters and not just, well, 2 letters and not just 1.
And what will this prevent?
Like, because it'll actually look at the last 2 instead of like H at the end.
The key thing, so the more important, the way it is, Isis, is, we look at this last string. If I kept it at dot length, it would test I, and whatever's after I. There isn't anything after I. So the reason we do this is to avoid an out of bounds error. Remember that, everyone. We do this to avoid going out of bounds. -1, we'll test these two, keeping us in bounds. Okay? And then, what's the step expression, Isis?
J plus plus.
Very good. All right, so now I have that, okay? So now, Vasily, what am I going to test? What do I need to test?
You're testing how many times it says hi.
Yeah, I know that, but what's my test? What's my conditional now? What do I need to write?
Oh. If word.substring.
Word dot substring.
J comma J plus plus. Or
Gary.
J plus 1.
Okay, how many of you agree with this?
I don't.
Why, Thanos?
It's J plus 2.
It's J plus 2. Vasily, how many letters are in the word hi?
2.
So if we're going 0, 0, 1, 2, exclusive of 2, or we get 2 letters. If I did 0, 1, exclusive of 1, so this one you can actually say up to 2 letters is fine. Okay, then how do I top it off?
Dot equals ignore case hi.
Okay. All right. How many of you agree that this is correct? How many of you agree? Raise your hand if this is correct. Not the whole code, not the whole code, just this if statement. Is this if statement correct?
You forgot to put the semicolon at the end.
Did you really say it? Who said that? Who's going to be wrong? Who am I literally going to rip for being wrong right now? Who said
Oh,
that?
never mind.
Who said that? Oh, it's Will. Okay. First of all, no, there is no semicolon. If anything, it would be a brace. Okay. So now I'm going to mix it up. Do this without using substring. I need you guys to start thinking of multiple ways, having multiple habits down. Do this without using substring. Okay. So, key thing is this, okay? Key thing is this. It's going to be another if statement. However, what I want it to be is this, okay? I'm not using substring. So I need to look at the letters, okay? And the good thing is that the letters that I'm trying to look for are in succession. So I say if word dot char at j equals h and char or word dot char at index j plus 1 equals I. Okay? I can do pi plus plus. Will both of those work?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, could I modify this one here to just make it, what's it called? Could I make it a capital H or a capital I as well? I could just add an or in here real quick, and that would take care of everything. Okay. So, but either way, do you guys see how I was able to now do, okay, if I do this, oops, let me actually print out. Nine, and if I make this, oops, it was ignore case. What am I missing? Oh, whoops. There we go. That's fine now. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh,
The high plus.
did I? No. Oh, I have one last one ending there. There we go. 9 as well. Okay. So you have the substring and you have the word dot char. Okay. All right. So that is basically, okay, that is basically how we go through this. Okay. Now, does anybody have any questions regarding that question? Now, something similar to that will be on your quiz. Okay.
Could you do word.char at j plus word.char at j
Word
plus
dot
2?
char, because it's short for character. Word dot char at j equals h, and word dot char at j plus 1 equals I. Because what this will do is it will just start at 0 and 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, etc., etc. But because the for loop terminates one less time, we'll still stay within range.
But I'm asking, could you, instead of doing them separately equals h and equals I, could I add them and then do dot equals ignore case? No.
No, because then you'd have to append them to a string. So in that case, what you would have to do is you'd have to do word.char or str. So you would have to do something like this. And then you'd have to do word.char at j plus 1. So you could do that. And then what you would do is you would say if word.subst or if z equals dot equals ignore case high. So then what you could do is you could technically do this if z dot equals ignore case high. Then technically that would still work as well.
Okay.
Okay. You get 9 again too. Because what you've done is you've just appended null, these two letters, you've appended to an empty string. So could you do it that way? It's clever. But substring would make more sense. Would you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just put you guys to a little bit of hell. So that being said, any questions before I give you another one? Okay, now it's open for review time.
So the number minus, like you have the -1 there, that would always just be one less than the total number that you're looking for in the word.
What's that?
Like, because high is 2 letters, correct? So
Correct.
it's always going to be one number less than do you
Again, so if you've got 2, the length would be if you're looking for 1 letter, it'll just be length. You're looking for 2 letters, length minus 1.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're looking for 5 letters, length minus 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
For nested for loops,
Okay.
it runs the entire like nested one until it's done before it goes back, right?
Correct. So the inner one you have to wait for the inner one to terminate before you can go back to the outer loop. And then remember, once you go back inside again, the inner for loop basically just what's it called? If the inner for loop just resets. Okay, the outer loop does not reset. Okay. All right. Okay. How many of you guys want another problem to kind of try out? Okay, here we go. Okay, so are we good here? Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, so here we go. Okay, print the number of the times the string code appears anywhere in the given string, will accept any letter for the D. So cope and COOE count. Read that question carefully. So for example, I'm gonna say, let's say I wrote the word code, okay? That means that code would appear twice. If I wrote code COE, because we don't care what D is, okay, this would still print, it would still return it or like print out a 2. But if I did code CODA, it would only be 1. Okay. And again, we're going to need a counter variable. All you get. By the way, for now, assume I only care about lowercase. Okay. Are you ready, baby birds? It's time for me to feed you. All right, here we go. Now, I'm looking for 4. I'm looking regardless of what D is. I don't care. I'm still looking for a word with 4. Okay. So Alex, give me the for loop signature.
For int z.
Was in J, good letter, yes.
Okay. Int j
Okay.
equals 0. J is less than. I called mine weird code. I don't know what.
We'll go off just mine right now. Word is fine.
All right. Word dot length minus 3.
Very good. Okay. How many of you agree it's -3? Raise your hand. Good. We're looking for a 4-letter word. Good. Okay. And then what?
And then j plus plus.
J plus plus. Okay. Very good. Okay. So now, okay, what is the next thing that I need?
If
I need an if statement. Now this if statement is going to be long. Okay. So I'm going to say if word, now in this one, we don't use substring. Using substring would just be way too long. In this instance, you would want to use char at. Okay. If word dot char at j is equal to C and word dot char at j plus 1 is equal to okay, and word dot char at j plus what?
3.
3. Okay. Word dot char at 3 is equal to E. Let me see if I can shrink this down a bit. Okay. All right. So there I go. So if word dot char at j to be 0 is C, 1 is O, and 3 is E. Basically, I'm looking at this, then I would say code plus plus. Then code 1 time, 2 times, 2 times. Perfect. Okay.
Mr. Marty,
Yes.
how would you do that with substring? Could you
I
do
would,
it?
I would literally, so what I would do, so basically, let me write out the substring one. So let's just say, I'm going to put it as a comment code. Okay, Nick?
Yeah.
I would say if word dot substring j to j plus 1 dot equals C and so I would basically just, I'm going to copy this.
Yeah.
Just basically j plus 1 to j plus 2 equals O and j plus 3 to j plus 4 equals E.
Couldn't you technically do skip one of those and just do j to j plus
You could say if j to j plus 2 equals CO
yeah.
and whatever equals E. Yeah, you could. I was just showing you how to put it out completely. But yes,
Okay.
you are right. You could technically, to simplify this, which is actually a smart way to do it. Good job, Nick. Okay. I was just going for the phonetic approach. You could just do this. Okay.
Yeah.
So that one works as well. Okay. So just showing you guys, the good thing is what I'm trying to show you is just different ways. Some people work well with the char at. Some people work well with the substring. Most of the time, substring just fits. Okay. But the good thing is you guys are getting some really good practice. Okay. You guys are getting really good practice. So, all right. Anything else? Anybody else have any questions?
Specifically to this or anything?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to focus on for loops, but specifically to this is fine, or to anything else is fine. Like I said, this is open forum for you guys.
I just want to clarify how like the if works with multiple different elifs and an else. It only chooses which one as soon as, like, if I have if.
Nick. This is a topic that you should already. This is something you need to already understand. Okay, when an else if is basically adding additional logical statements. It's basically like you have a multiple choice question. When you have a multiple choice question, let's say that you are looking through all that, you know your material, you look at a multiple choice question, you know it's B. Do you even bother looking at C, D, and E? You move on. That's all the else ifs do, is it basically daisy chains multiple conditional statements to the first one, because there's a possibility it could be something else. And then the else is basically the none of the above.
Perfect.
Okay? You got to get that concept down, Nick. You shouldn't be asking a question like that. Okay? If you need to, reread chapter 9 on if statements. Eleanor, any questions?
I was actually a little bit confused on the homework,
Okay, which homework? Which one?
the for loop elaboration.
Oh, which one was that one?
Isn't that the most
Most
recent
recent
one?
one, right? Yeah, but I'm trying to say what was it? I'm saying.
Like how do you make it to, like, because I know that you'll probably have to use multiple for loops.
Oh, is this the one enter a number of integers?
It's the even
Yeah.
odd.
Okay, let me take a look at it real quick, okay? Let me tell you. Do you guys want to go ahead and do that one here? Yes or no? You guys want to go ahead and try it? How many of you got that one? Okay, good. All right, so what we'll do is, I have no problem doing that one, Eleanor, so we'll take a look at it right now. Let me just, for loop elaboration, and this one was, write a program to determine the number of even and odd numbers. Okay, so basically what we do is we're asking the user how many numbers want to be entered, okay? So this one was kind of a tricky one, okay? So write a program, make a copy. All right. This one was kind of a little mean, actually. Okay, because some of you, again, as I told you guys, formatting matters. Okay. Geez, how long was this question? Oh. Okay, so write a program to determine the number of even and odd numbers as entered by the user. The program should ask how many integers to be entered and allow the user to enter the integers using a loop. As the integers are entered, keep track of how many are even and how many are not. At the end, display the results. So it looks like you should have printed the odds. I don't know why that didn't print out, but you should have. How many of you guys printed out the odds anyway? Understood it was probably a typo. Okay, good. All right. The end. So what we're going to do is basically, so you want to ask the user how many integers are to be entered. You got to look at it this way, Eleanor. Basically, what they are doing when they say how many integers want to be entered, you're going to repeat a program a certain number of times, right? So basically, what you're doing is they're determining when this loop will terminate. Okay, so I'm going to create a scanner. Scanner KB equals new scanner system.in. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say how many numbers will be entered. So int nums equals. All right, so I have, sorry. Copy and paste. Perfect. How many numbers will be entered? Int nums equals kb.next int. Okay, so did everybody at least get this far? Did yes or no? Thumbs up. I need to see thumbs up. Did everybody at least get this far? Okay, good. All right. So kb.next. So basically what I've done is I've just asked the user how many numbers I'm gonna answer. Okay. So this is where we got to get a little tricky. All right. For int j equals 0. And Eleanor, you were in class, but I like to use j because it's arguably one of the greatest letters in the world. It's sleek. It represents perfection, style, grace. Happens to be my first name's letter too. So just a wonderful letter to use. Okay. So I can see Isa slowly throwing up in her mouth. We'll ignore that. All right. So, so in j equals 0, j is less than nums. Okay. Nums is basically how many n times. So if I say I want 5 numbers, if I say it's less than nums, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and when we get to 5, it stops. So it gives me 5 numbers. Okay. So j is less than nums. Okay. And then I'll do j plus plus. All right. So by the way, hint, hint. Is there anything wrong with this loop?
It might infinitely repeat if you put in the number.
It infinitely repeats, but is there anything wrong with it?
No.
You don't have an incremental.
Do I need one? Do you see any errors in this code? Okay. Technically, the only thing I need is the conditional with the appropriate variable that I am going to use as a counter. So technically, there is nothing wrong with this for loop. It will infinitely run, but there's nothing wrong with it. Start thinking that way, okay? So hint, hint, possible test question. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, oh, I forgot to do something. So I got to make a number of variables, okay? I have to say int evens. I can even do it up here. Let's just do it up here for convenience. Evens equals 0. Odds equals 0. So how many of you got this one? You made the 2 variables to keep track of evens and odds. Okay, very good. So now what I'm going to do is this, okay? I'm going to now say sys out. Enter number plus j plus 1. How many of you guys remember to do that? Do you see, this is where some of you might have overlooked this. You see how number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are incrementing? Some of you might have just put enter a number. You would be marked off. You are wrong. Okay? So not to print number. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a print so that it goes right next to it. And I'm going to go int num equals kb.nextInt. Okay. All right. Now int num equals kb.nextInt. Okay. So I can use 2 things. I can use an if statement or I can use a ternary. Why, Benny, is a ternary a possibility in this?
Because you're only going to have 2 possible outcomes. You're either going to have even or odd.
Hold on. Why does it do that? Hold on. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
So what's happening, I have a big screen. If you did odds equals nums minus evens. I don't like that way, Alex. So, but Alex, hey, don't be afraid, brother, to ask everyone in public because we need to hear it because you might not be the only person thinking that way, okay? So if you're wrong, you got to give me the chance to humiliate you in public, okay? So, all right. So,
Mr. Marty?
Yeah.
Instead of doing j plus 1, I know j plus 1 is more efficient, but I created another variable count and then
a lot of people do that too, and they increment it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. A lot of people will do this too. They'll do q equals 1. And then what they'll do is they'll just do Q, basically representing the question number. Okay. But what you just said, you said it right away. Which one's more efficient?
J plus 1.
J, because we're using less memory. Okay. So J plus 1. All right. If you made a variable to hold it, Kennedy, perfect score is still 2. Okay. So now what we do is this. So we have the number. So we say if num modular 2 does not equal 0, odds plus plus, else evens plus plus. So that's it, Eleanor. Okay. So basically what's happening is we go through, okay, if num modular 2 does not equal, why am I getting an error?
Don't you need parentheses?
Oh, that's right. My conditional is in parentheses. Good call. It's tough, guys. I'm teaching in Python and C# all in one day, so my brain gets fried. Okay. So if num modular 2 does not equal 0, so what I've done, Eleanor, is this. Every time they ask a question, so right now we're going to run this. Okay, I'm not printing anything out. Okay, Eleanor? But basically what I'm doing is I'm printing this. How many numbers will be entered? I'm going to say 4. Okay. I'm going to enter the first number, 2. The minute I hit enter, Eleanor, it's going to take this number. It's then, so which would be, in this case, 2. 2 modular 2. Does 2 modular 2 equals or not equal 0?
No.
No, it doesn't, which means it's an even number. So we'll skip this and it will increment the evens. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let me actually make this. Let me make this a little bit easier to read. Okay. So basically, so now enter, so let's say I enter 2 numbers. First number is going to be 5. Second number is going to be 10. Okay. So theoretically what has happened is my first number was 5. 5 was then tested to see, is 5 modular 2 not equal to 0? Yes. Okay, it's equal to 1. So that would increment. Then what happens is this if statement's done, I have nothing else in my for loop, cycle back up, add 1. 1 is less than 2. So is my next number I put was 10. Okay, is 10 modular 2 not equal to 0? Okay, correct. So in that case, it skips it and goes to odds or goes to evens. So now outside of the for loop, and you've got to be careful, okay, making sure that you're outside of the for loop. What helps knowing is that, guys, what should help you is knowing you don't need public static void and public class. Knowing that this is all you have should keep you organized. Sys out odds plus odds, and then evens plus done. So now if I run this, and I'm going to say this time, why did I do that? It's bugging me. All right. Okay, how many numbers will be answered? I'm going to say 5. Enter number 1, 34, 23, 67, 89, 100. I had 3 odd numbers and I had 2 even numbers. Okay. And you can see my numbers are incrementing because I did J plus 1, which I'm using from here. And I'm just keeping track. I'm incrementing. I needed a counter variable. Okay. Keep that again, Eleanor, you're not in class. Same thing with you, Alan. If I ever ask you to count how many times something is doing, keep track of. You're going to need variables to keep track of them. Those will get you points. Okay. All right, guys. Wow. It's been, 40 minutes. All right. So that being said, okay, so that was the homework. How many of you got it? How many of you were close? Eleanor, where did you make your mistake?
I think it's like the if statement because I didn't really use the odds and evens
Okay.
as like
So you didn't have those tracker variables, right?
Yeah, I didn't
So,
have those.
so remember that's just the methodology. You keep track of something, you're always going to need it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
For
So,
the oh, I'm sorry.
yes,
For the quiz tomorrow, you said it's just a free response.
it's just a program. 4
Okay.
points. Okay. It's going to be similar to one of the first two that we just did. I am currently working on. It's taking a little bit of time because I have to program the key. So I've got a slide with about eight free response for loop questions for you to practice. So like I said, I'm going to put a for loop on one slide, solution next, for loop solution, for loop solution. Okay. That should help you to basically also to break down like, okay, if I see a question similar to this, do you guys see the first two questions that I asked you? First one was asking hi. The second was asking code, okay? But with a modification. I don't care what's in D. Do you guys see how both of them were still very similar? I had to do some modification to the length. I needed a tracker variable, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? All right. I thought this was a good review, and I gave you guys, I would watch this. I gave you some great examples, okay, that you can use. So as soon as it's done recording or converting, I'm going to toss this online so that you can take a look, because the first two questions, hint, hint, those were really good questions, and your quiz will be somewhat similar. I don't think it's going to be harder. I actually think those questions were AP style questions, so I don't think they're going to be that hard, but they'll be close. Okay? And your quiz is going to be 8 minutes tomorrow. I'm giving you 8 minutes. This is the part where you say, thank you, Marty. You're the greatest person in the world. You could have given us 4, but we understand that you just love us so much. Right, Nick? Good. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Good luck. Get some sleep. And again, I can't stress this anymore. Code for points. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.